Dear viewers, welcome to the one-on-one set. Our guest tonight is Tejsree Beharee. She is an Indian classical dancer and the founder of Nritya Tej Academy. Tonight, we are going to discover more about her journey as an artist. Tejsree, thank you so much for joining us in the studio of the MBC.
Thank you, Koyal.
Tejsree, Indian classical dance refers to various dance forms that are originated from all over India. Before we dive more into your experience as an Indian classical dancer, explain to us the meaning of Indian classical dance forms and its various forms.
Okay, so classical dances are dances that follows a codified system. Okay, so what is that? It means that it has a predetermined set of movements, and these movements are taken from dance texts that we call the Natya Shastra or Abhinaya Darpanam and many more. Okay, so all Indian classical dances, they kind of have a common system of nritta and nritya movements. Now, what is nritta? Nritta means pure dance movements, okay? Movements of the feet and the hand and the eyes, neck, etc. Whereas nritya means expressional dance, where we are communicating something to our audience. So this is common in all. But in India, we have 8 Indian classical dances. For example, we have Bharatnatyam from the south, Kathak from the north, we have Mohiniyattam and Kathakali from Kerala, etc. So what differs them is thus the way that they are presented. Okay, so first is movements. For example, in Bharatnatyam, it is very common to have the half sitting movement that we call the Aray Mandi. So if in a dance we see that Aray Mandi, we can we can know that okay, this is Bharatnatyam. Whereas for Kathak, it is very common to have the turning movement that they call Chakkar. Okay, so this is another difference. Now, another more visual difference that we can make use of to differ between the dances are the costumes. In Bharatnatyam, it is usually the skirt or a pant with pleats in front, whereas in Kathak, they wear the salwar, what is a churidar. Okay, and there is another dance, the Kathakali. Maybe you have seen it in movies, Koyal. They have elaborate costumes and makeup. They paint their face green and they wear crowns and large costumes.
Looks heavy a lot.
Yeah, very heavy. So they have to undergo a lot of training to be able to wear those costumes. So all these dances, to summarize, they follow the same format, but they differ in the movements, in the costumes, in the way that they are presented.
Actually, you are into Bharatnatyam since you were 9. What drew you to this art form?
Well, since I was a little girl, I was very attracted to dances. I used to watch Bollywood movies and imitate the movements. And every year for Diwali, my father used to bring us to the Diwali national shows, and I was very impressed by the costumes and the movements, the energy, everything that was happening on that stage. So then my father enrolled me in a dance school, the Rasika Dance Academy. Okay, I was under the tutelage of Didi Ravita Sarikpitambao. And there I discovered the world of Bharatnatyam as well as folk dances. But my love for Bharatnatyam was so strong that later on it drew me to follow an academic course in that.
So in a way, we can say that the complex system of handworks, footworks, and facial expression costumes drew you to that art.
Yes, exactly.
But what are the different trainings that you had in Bharatnatyam?
Well, I had many trainings and it is still ongoing.
It's a never-ending learning process, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I started with Didi Ravita Salik, where I was performing a lot. Then for my academic pathway, I joined the Mahatma Gandhi Institute. There I completed my certificate in dance, my diploma, and I did a bachelor in performing arts. Then as I was teaching, I did my PGCE to perfect myself, to better myself as a dance educator. Recently, I just completed my master's in Bharatnatyam from Chennai, University of Madras. And along all these, I have been following seminars and workshops and attended a few diploma courses from other universities so as to better understand, because you know dance is so vast. We don't just dance, we have to understand the expressions, the system of countings, the history. So as I said, it is an ongoing process.
And from what we've seen in most performances, a Bharatnatyam dancer starts and ends every session of dancing with namaskar, that is salutation. Explain to us the importance of namaskar, why we should perform it before we start any dance.
Okay, so namaskar means salutations, but it is not the mere portraying of
Okay.
salutations like this. It has a deeper meaning. Now, all Indian classical dances has namaskar, where we begin and end our class with it. But I'm going to explain for Bharatnatyam. So we start by stamping the feet. Okay, it is a sign that okay, I'm going to start dancing. So I'm going to start stamping my feet. Then we do like a hugging movements. Okay, which means that I am going to take everything positive from my environment. Then we touch the earth and our eyes. Why the earth? Because we consider the earth as our mother. We say Mama Latte, Mother Earth. Okay, so we touch earth to ask for her blessing and to ask for forgiveness because we are going to start to dance on her. All right. Then it is followed by a movement where the hands are folded upwards, where we ask blessing from the God, near the head to the guru, the teacher, and in front of the chest near our heart for our dear audience. Okay, so to summarize, namaskar, we do it as a sign of respect for Mother Earth, and also to take the blessings of God, teachers, and our audience.
That's a beautiful significance then.
Yeah, indeed.
Tejsree, you have also opened your dance school, Nritya Tej Academy. Tell us more about it. How did it all start?
Well, I was still a student doing my bachelor in performing arts, Bharatnatyam, and I was very passionate by it. I had another field, but my passion was dance. So as I was learning, I wanted to share this knowledge with others. So I started in temples, teaching young girls in the surroundings. Then later on, when I saw that there was an interest in that field, I decided to open my dance school and present a more structured syllabus so that I gave the opportunity to all those who want to learn this dance. And it has been I received a very positive response because I didn't have only little girls but also boys and elder persons. Okay, so people who have unfulfilled dreams that they couldn't pursue dance in their younger age. They came and joined the academy, and we presented a lot of performances. So this happiness, this encouraged me to continue and keep on sharing whatever I have been taught.
But besides Bharatnatyam, do you also teach other dance forms?
Yes, actually it is Indian folk dances. I was introduced to that style from Didi Ravita Salik, and I was very mesmerized by it. And so from time to time in my dance class, I introduce some folk dances. I think it is very important, Koyal, to introduce this style because it carries our history. When our ancestors came to Mauritius, they brought that culture with them. Okay, we have the Kolatam dance from the Tamil community. We have Jakri from Marathi. We have Bhojpuri dance. Okay, so it is good that along with learning Bharatnatyam, they are also learning their culture.
But there are a lot of difference between the way Indian classical dance is and folklore dance.
Yeah, they are two different worlds. Exactly. So Bharatnatyam, it follows a codified system. You have to learn the alphabets. Your hand has to be in a specific way, your postures, etc. But in folk dances, it is more relaxed. All right, the dances, it is usually performed in a group, and its sole purpose is for entertainment. It is very colorful.
Very vibrant as well. The colors of their dress as well are very vibrant.
Yes, and one common example here in Mauritius, we have the Git Gawai, where on Fridays for marriage ceremonies, we go and attend this. We have a live demonstration of how vibrant it is.
But we can say that nowadays Bharatnatyam has also evolved. Can you say how Bharatnatyam and theatre come together now?
Okay, Bharatnatyam has evolved because it used to be a temple dance performed by Devadasis, okay, which means servants of God. They used to perform in temples as an offering to God. So that was the purpose. Then later on, it moved to, as it was more accepted and more expanded. It expanded from India and moved around the world. It entered the world of academic. That is, it is now present in universities and at school levels. Okay, so it has another purpose of spreading culture, spreading the art form through an academic purpose. All right, but it also has a formal entertainment purpose where very often for official ceremonies, Bharatnatyam, Indian classical dance, are used for for the opening. So this has been an evolution. Okay, but it is also important to note that in the past, mythological stories were used, but now there is a modern approach to it.
Exactly.
We can, if we observe around, we look on YouTube and dance shows and on the television and all, we will see that modern stories are used, like environmental issues are addressed, or the use of technology. All right. So what happens? Bharatnatyam is being used. The dance steps are here. The platform is here, but just the idea, the concept behind are changing. Now you're telling about the theatrical part. Theatrical part was always present. Just the name was different. It was called Bhagavata Mela Natakam. It was an Indian classical dance, but with a theatrical stance, presenting religious stories. But today it has moved to a modern way, where we have an auditorium. It is more equipped. We use a good mix of light and sound and backdrops to enhance the performance so as it is more catchy for the audience.
You've mentioned about mythology and a modernist lens. Being a youngster, how do you interpret mythology to the modern audience?
Okay, I'm going to talk about my own experience.
Yes.
Actually, I have presented 2 dance dramas related to mythology, one on Lord Shiva and one taking part of the Ramayana. So what happened is our audience is of a mixed age. We have youngsters to elders. So the level of understanding is different. And the amount of knowledge that we already have about those stories also is different. So how to catch the attention of the audience? What I do is I use a mix of language. The audience should be able to connect to the dance. So what happens, instead of sticking to Sanskrit or Tamil, I use a mix of Hindi and English and some Creole to it, so that they are more connected to the performance. Then from the stories, I take bits and pieces and simplify it. Okay, so that by the end of the show, when the audience is leaving, I'm making sure that they are leaving after having learned something that stays with them.
And also grab the message of the mythology, maybe.
Yeah. And another thing that I would like to say, taking it from a modern perspective, mythologies, it is, I would disagree if someone would say that youngsters are not attracted to mythological stories, because, you know, we have many fans of Marvels, and in Marvels we have Thor, who is a Norse god. We have fan readers of Percy Jackson. He's the son of Perseus, a Greek god. All right, he's Perseus, actually the son of Zeus. Okay, which is a Greek god. And we have. I'm also a diehard fan of Lord of the Rings and Hobbits. They are very long, very rich, very impressive storylines. But yet our youngsters are attracted to it.
Of course.
So I would say that apart from books and TV shows, Bharatnatyam dance can be a medium to bring mythology and youngsters closer.
Yes, and when we see a performance of Bharatnatyam or Kathak, the makeup and costume plays an important role. These are among the first things that catch the attention of the audience. How do you think that makeup and costume can elevate a Bharatnatyam performance?
Yeah, makeup and costume is very important aspects of dance. Actually, when we're performing on a stage. The stage itself is at an elevated level compared to the audience. So once we step on that stage, I am no more Tejsree. I am that character that I am portraying. So I am at an elevated level. So those costumes and jewelries and makeup are used to elevate myself to that character. This is one thing. Now, when we are performing, the audience is not always close to us. They are far, some are very far behind. So they have to be able to understand our expressions. So the makeup and the darkened eye lines and all, they help to accentuate the expressions to help us communicate what we are trying to portray through our dance to the audience.
So it helps to communicate emotions as well, to convey certain type of emotion.
Yeah, correctly.
And Tejsree, a dancer's life is a continuous process of artistic evolution, that is, of reflection, of dynamic change, of growth. You choreograph new dances, renew works, and also rework old dance. Even on performances, you are continuously improvising. So where do you derive your creativity to build a performance?
So as an artist, I believe that we should always be standby for change and growth.
Yes.
So at the beginning of my journey, I used to observe my teachers and grab from them and imitate that into my dance. Okay, so this was the first part of my step in the dance world. Then later on, as I started to understand the in and out of the dance, I decided to take a chance with innovations. So my first show, Facets of Bharatnatyam, I tried to portray the yoga aspect of dance. I tried to use dance
Through
as a form of,
Bharatnatyam?
yeah, as a form of exercise, like the eye movements, the neck movements, the hand gestures and all. And also, I presented it by a group of physically challenged students to show that dance has many facets. Okay. Then later on, as I completed my courses and I saw how intricate and detailed the dance is, I started having more confidence to present the dances. For example, we can present a dance in different countings. We can count it into 3, into 4, into 5, into 7, etc. So one dance can, the counting system, the skeleton can be changed and reperformed, reworked, all right? But even if I'm doing all that, the basic, the culture, the root is still here. We still hold it very strong and try to add a little bit of ourselves to that dance and present it as, like we say, something new.
Yes. But how long does it take you to actually choreograph a whole performance?
Oh, the choreographing starts with an idea. Then you have to research and read a lot. Then you have to observe other dancers, how they are doing it. Then you observe your students. If I'm choreographing with my students, like, okay, this student, she performs better with expression, and this one is better with the countings and all. So I identify my students and give them the rules. Then the dance practice session starts. So taking from imagining the idea and presenting it on stage, I would say a year.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot of work.
But now, what would you say are the highlights of your career so far? I mean, you've been in this field for so many years now.
Highlights, well, as a student, I have learned a lot and I'm still learning.
Yeah.
So this is a very big highlight of my life because I realized when I was still a beginner, I told myself, okay, I'll do my bachelor and then it will be over. Then I did my PGCE, then it will be over. Then I did my master's, then it will be over. But then, no, we can't limit ourselves to like academic qualifications. It goes so much beyond that. So this is one highlight, to keep on learning. Another thing which is very challenging is having a class of different students and mounting dancers, meeting deadlines and choreographing and all. Okay, so taking care of everybody's abilities and producing something. And in the general, my highlights are the shows that I have presented, because it takes a lot to work and present it. So I would say my dance academy is going to celebrate, this year it celebrated its 5 years. Okay, so this is one big achievement for me personally. And this is one of the biggest highlights of my life.
Yes, but Tejsree, teaching students to dance is actually not so easy, especially when you have different levels of students in a class. So how do you adjust your teaching methods and allow the students to reach their highest potential?
Yes, so actually there are no classes where the students are of same level. Okay, so usually you have to observe and then adapt. So if there is a fast learner, usually we give them more to learn to nurture their learning. And if there is somebody who is taking more time, it's not that this person is lagging behind. No, it's just that the way that she processes the movements or the learning is different. So we have to give them the materials, enough tools to be able to self-correct themselves in the future. Now, if I'm doing a group performance and there are different abilities, what I do is I split them. I give them different movements so that when they come together, it looks like a one big beautiful picture, which mix up together very nicely. But there is also one principle that I use very closely to my dance classes is the Howard Gardner's theory of multiple intelligence. It says that intelligence is not only academic, but we have different intelligences. Somebody might be good in counting, but other people might be good in language. Another one might be good in movements. So the teacher should just have the eye to recognize that in the student and give them what they do best. Okay, maybe the syllabus is one, but identify what they are good at and nurture this, okay, so as to encourage them. But one thing to point out is students should meet the teacher halfway, else all the efforts are futile, you know. So they do the work, the teacher do the work, okay, and I'm sure they will grow.
It's a team.
And yeah, it's a teamwork.
We are actually drawing towards the end of this episode, but before that, Tejsree, what are your objectives now as an Indian classical dancer and also the founder of Nritya Tej Academy?
My one main purpose is to keep on learning and keep on sharing, because what's the use to learn without sharing it, one. Second is I want to break that mindset that we have to stay academic, okay? This is something that I have noticed greatly with my students. So little by preparing more performances, okay, I want to have a well-versed audience that can recognize a classical and appreciate a classical performance. And through that audience, okay, it will cultivate our students also to learn to appreciate it, so that later on, the coming generations will have a platform for them to be able to present their dance.
And any advice you would like to give our youngsters to encourage them to always live their passion like you are doing?
Yes, actually, whatever the field you choose, whether you're an astronaut or a doctor or a teacher, always do it with your heart full in it. That good energy will inspire others to follow you, and I hope they will inspire the next generation until it creates a strong chain of good energy and good inspiration.
Thank you so much, Tejsree. It was such a pleasure to have you on the set of One on One and talk about Indian classical dance.
Thank you, Koyal.
Dear viewers, we have now come to the end of this episode. Thank you for your time. We hope to catch you next week at the same time, same channel. Have a great evening.